Good morning, Grace Church. It's great to be with you again. I just want to fill you in a little bit about our current situation in regards to the Grace Centre and opening up the building again for public gatherings. I know you're all itching to get back there. I know you're all sort of chomping at the bit, and we're missing being together. Believe it, all of us are. We're all missing coming together to worship, coming together just to be with one another, coming together to hear God's word brought to us, and so our desire is to be in that place where we are able to do all of those things and hear God's word sort of just impacting us as His people. So the government announced last week that churches can open from Saturday the 4th of July going forwards, and that of course is great news, but as Grace Church we won't be opening the building from this Sunday or from today if you're watching this as part of the Sunday online. Things are not just going to return back to normal as they were before March. Expect for a little while yet things to be different, and expect, I guess, don't expect everything just to be as it was before. And I want to just share with you some of the things that we can be doing, even though we're not opening publicly, and that we will be doing as a church to try and work towards opening publicly. So the government have released a comprehensive guide for places of worship, and we've been looking through that this week, trying to look at what does that mean for us, how does those things work out, and we came to the conclusion that actually it doesn't mean for us a lot changes right now. So predominantly we're going to keep with what we're doing with the online church, and we're going to keep going the way we are. And going forwards we want to keep an online presence because we understand that not everybody will be able to meet at the Grace Centre. There'll be certain people in certain people groups that are unable to meet because of health conditions or other things. So we want to continue to bring something online. And what we do want to do is try and start to introduce live elements to our Sunday meetings as well. And at some point in the future, that's our sort of goal, is to try and start doing that, and then to hopefully invite a few people down to the Grace Centre as well to come and be part of that. But that's looking a little bit further forward. It's going to take us a little while to learn how to do all these things. We want to make sure that we're doing things really well, serving you really well, and not just throwing things together. We want it to be a good experience for people watching on the screen, and we want it to be a good experience for people that are with us there in person as well. So as I said, the first stage that we're thinking of doing this is we're going to start recording elements of our Sunday mornings down at the Grace Centre. So you'll see, actually, if you're watching on Sunday, you'll see this Sunday Ian has been speaking from the Grace Centre, where that's been recorded. So there may be other elements that we can do from the Grace Centre in future weeks as well. One of the things that we love to do together as a church is worship God. And at the moment we're unable to do that together in the sense of us all coming together in one place and worshipping God with singing and playing of instruments and just shouting out our prayers and out our praises. And we're going to continue using our worship team to hopefully bless you on Sunday mornings, and so because at the moment communal worship isn't allowed, and the coming together of people, you could potentially have one singer, but you have to have a screen in front of them, and we just don't think it's helpful for us for the way that we celebrate doing church together. So, but if the point comes when we start to introduce people to Sunday morning meetings, as in watching at the Grace Centre, then those worship times will have to take a more reflective feel, we think, because we're unable to sing together, we're unable to lift our voices together. All these things sort of make up these elements that sort of would be a restrictive church, which is not what we want to do at all. So on a Sunday morning, we're planning to slowly introduce. Initially, it'd just be the people that are needed there to make Sunday morning happen. So all the technical side of things, maybe the person speaking, So we want to get our heads around that whole thing, the way that might work, and slowly introduce other things to that then. As I said before, we really want people's experience to be a good one, whether it's on the screen or whether it's someone there in person. So we're just going to take things slowly, and please bear with us, please be with us in prayer and just in standing with us. We're all learning, we're all sort of trying to get our heads around how this is going to work. And then with the hope and the intention that actually a bit further down the line, maybe from August, we can start introducing maybe a life group each Sunday to come and be part of those Sunday mornings. When we do that, whenever we bring people to the Grace Centre, we've got to make sure that we are still keeping distances, that we are adhering and abiding by all the regulations and the rules that have been put in place. So it means things like there won't be any refreshments. The government are very much put these guidelines in place, and it means there shouldn't be any sort of socially coming together. So you'd be there for the service and then you'd be asked to leave. Again, I think it just makes how we do church very difficult and very hard, which is again another reason why we're predominantly keeping things online. As part of this whole process, health and safety is really important to us. So from next week we're bringing Beth back off furlough and Natasha back off furlough. So Beth I've asked her to spend a lot of time her work time looking at us as a church, our policies, our procedures. Are we doing everything that we should be doing? Are we being responsible employers? Are we being responsible leaders? Initially we need to do a COVID-19 risk assessment for the building and for all the activities that we do. So all this takes time, and we don't, as I said before, we don't want to rush into things. We want to do things well and properly. It's also not just the coming together side of things, but we need to think about the cleaning of the building, and hence why we're bringing Natasha off furlough as well, so she can carry on with the great job that she does around the building. So far I've sort of said a lot of things that we can't do, but I want to really encourage you to think about what you can do, what we can do as God's church. As of Saturday the 4th of July, we're able to invite other people into our homes, so bring in 2 families together. So maybe you can invite another family over to watch church together. Maybe you could invite them to watch church and stay for lunch. Or maybe you could invite a couple more people over if you're planning on staying in your garden, because you can still have up to 6 people from multiple households in your garden. So there's just ways in which we can be still building together, still building friendships, still standing with one another, and just we need to start making the situation work for us, rather than just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. Let's take the first step, let's take the steps forwards, and let's push towards new things for what God's got for us. So to round things off, there's a few elements that you might be wondering about. So prayer meetings, so one of the recommendations for places of worship is to avoid singing, or for spoken responses not to be in a raised voice. So for that reason we're going to keep doing our prayer meetings online and for the immediate future really. Life groups, again, we're going to encourage people to continue meeting online as you have been over the past few months, or to meet in smaller groups, so again up to groups of 6 in people's gardens. And if meeting up in person, I'm afraid we're going to have to say that there's no sung worship, so you won't be able to sing together, again because that's one of the stipulations that are in place as a place of worship. And finally, Sunday mornings, so again, primarily staying the way that they are at the moment, and we hope to be by August start inviting small groups along to the Grace Centre to be part of the Sunday mornings, initially just watching on the screens together, and again we won't be able to sing together currently as the regulations stand, so the worship will need to take more of a reflective feel, and we need to make sure that we're adhering to social distances at all times. we also hope to, one of the things we do want to do about Sunday mornings is invite some people to be part of, maybe part of the recording of the sermons or the preachers or the elements. So please look out for that communication going forwards, as we're able to start using the building in little ways. And finally, I just want to encourage each and every one of us. I don't want this season to be a season of just sitting and waiting. We've done a lot of, I guess some of us have done a lot of just sitting and waiting for things to be brought to us, things and guidances of what we can do next. And I want us to take the opportunities that are in front of us now, make the most of them, and it'd be easy for us to mark time. So mark time is, if you're not familiar with what mark time is, as a soldier is marching, if he gets the command to mark time, he starts marching on the spot and doesn't really go anywhere. And let's not be like people that are marking time, but let's be bold in moving forwards. Let's be bold in inviting others. Let's try and excel in our hospitality of people. Restrictions limit us from being hospitable at the Grace Centre at the moment, but in your homes you can be hospitable. So let me really encourage you to love one another, to stand with one another, and just to encourage, keep encouraging one another throughout these times. If you've got any questions about any of this, then please feel free to ring me or email me, whatever's easiest for you. And I'll speak to you soon. Take care.